Can't
Yep.
do it. Won't let me.
Okay. And we have like what? No volume?
It says it's muted.
It is not muted.
It worked a minute ago.
It worked a minute ago. Okay.
Angie, you want to sing?
Angie should sing this.
Yes.
Okay, because this worked just fine a second ago as far as volume is concerned. Now it's not. So, anyway, you guys, yeah. Okay.
How was that?
How was that? Get rid of it. Okay, so we do have a topic tonight. Okay, and it's the topic is the Sherman Act and how it actually applies to like groomers. So we're going to give a couple minutes for people to jump on because I know there was a couple people who were really interested in this particular topic. So before we get started, and only because it is time sensitive, that I am doing the workshop retreat here July 8th and 9th in Washington. However, and that registration for the live is already closed. However, I am opening up one virtual spot, and that is mostly to just kind of see how that works. Okay, but there's pros and cons to this. All right, pros is you get to from your home join in on the on the retreat. All right, so everything that goes along with the retreat, how to put a workshop together, how to working with people there. Okay, even though you're virtual. Okay, the cons is, all right, and of course no travel, so no hotel, no flight, no nothing. But the con is you have to carve 2 days out to do this. This is not recorded. Right? You have to participate. That's the whole point of having a retreat is to participate. Okay. And Chris is here, even though she's not on. Unless she is on. Oh, she is here. Holy cow. We were not expecting you, but I am glad you're here. So, and it's not recorded. So if you either carve out the time at home to do it or you don't. If you are interested, send me a message because that offer goes away on Friday because I need time to mail you the supplies. All right, so back to our regularly scheduled live stream. So today we're going to talk about the Sherman Act. What is it? The Sherman Act, and I'm going to pull up the website from the Justice Department. Okay, it has to do with price fixing, bid rigging, and market allocation. All right, it's to prevent companies from like setting prices that you have no choice. But if you want the service, this is what it costs. Okay, it generally will go after like the big companies, like the big corporations, and those fines can be millions of dollars. But that is not to say that they will not go after the small business person. The fines are more in, I guess, more in line, but still, what is millions of dollars to a big corporation? All right. Why are we echoing? I don't know, Chris. Oh, I know why we're echoing because you're on here twice.
Where am I twice?
I don't know, but you're here twice. That's why. Let me see if I can delete you. Remove. Let's see what happened. All right. Is the echoing still there?
I can't tell because now it's weird and I'm not here.
You're here.
You're here.
No.
Yes, we can see you.
Oh, shoot. Wait.
Okay, so this is my suggestion, Chris.
Okay, so
you're here, right?
Look, there were a lot of windows happening. There's a lot of windows.
Okay. Okay. These are all Facebook users. I have no idea who they are.
So we have Tommy, Anita, There's a number of people in here.
Okay, so where was I? But it's not the fines for small business may not be on the order of millions of dollars, but it is still can be really painful to a small business to get hit with the Sherman Antitrust Act. All right. So I'm just going to in real simple terms, what it is. Okay. So just bear with me a second. So there's three ways that a small business can be in violation of it. One of it really does not apply to us because you're not going to be doing bidding. Okay. So one of the things is market allocation, all right, in which you divvy up your area. Like this groomer will take customers in from this area and then this area, and you can't mix and match. It's why franchises get in trouble. Okay, because a franchise cannot offer anybody a specific market as part of the franchise. It's why you could have literally two subways on the same block, right? They can't do market allocation. That is in violation of the Sherman Act. Okay. The other one is can happen to small things, right? So some of the things that could get you in trouble. Okay. The first one is to discuss prices with competitors. Now, understand, having conversations with your fellow groomers is not bad, and knowing what other people are charging is not bad. However, when the purpose of discussing pricing is so that you can set prices, right? And if that is a conversation, and it doesn't have to be everybody in the area. It just takes two service providers in one area to be in violation, right? So two people sitting down and saying, we're going to charge this. Okay. That's the first way that you can get in trouble. The second one is to, if you join in with other competitors, to boycott another competitor or a supplier. Okay. For example, let's just say there's a local distributor and you guys are pissed off at him because you think they're charging too much money. So you're going to boycott him and tell everyone you can't buy from him anymore because of this. That puts you into the same thing, the Sherman Act, in violation of the Sherman Act. Okay. If you require customers to purchase something that they don't want in order to have your service, okay. So you require an additional purchase of, let's just say, a spa package. All right. You don't give them a choice, right? You have to purchase this extra thing. That's a violation, right?
Question.
Go ahead.
Would fees be included in that? Or is it definitely like a thing?
Explain yourself.
Okay. My service price, round numbers, is $100.
Right.
But, I need to drive to XYZ to you. That's an extra $20. That's my travel fee. Is that?
I don't think so, because that's part of doing business. That's part of the cost of doing business. I mean, there's a way around all of this, and it's do a business plan and know what you need to charge. If you have a business plan and you know what it is you need in order to charge to make a living, it doesn't matter what other people are charging. I like a very particular, very particular half gallon of coconut milk. Specific company. It's what I want. I don't want the others. I want this one. Okay. And no matter what store I buy it at, it is $6.49. Okay. That's not price fixing. All right. That is, you could have the same prices if that is what it costs to do business. Does that make sense? Angie, you look confused.
But what about, that was a really good point. Amy asked, what about dematting fees?
Okay, That's not
Still charging for a service.
that's not something that they can say. You sound like you're in a tunnel
Or underwater, Michelle.
or underwater, Michelle.
It could be.
No, your microphone.
Oh, I know what's the matter. Hold on.
Right? Not it's not going to apply to necessary services. It's going to apply for things they don't need. If they don't want dematting fees, then you don't demat the dog and you send the dog on its way. Right? This is what it's going to cost to groom this dog, this cat, and what it is you want. These are not unwanted things. Something unwanted would be you're requiring them to like buy a bow and a bandana. It's not necessary for you to do your job.
Or a brush and a comb.
Yeah. Or you have to buy this comb and a brush, right? Or you have to buy this shampoo and conditioner for me, right? That is not needed in order to do your job. So whatever it is it takes to do your job, that is not anything that's going to be unwanted. All right. That would also be if a dog is aggressive and you need to pull in a second person. All right. That's not something they may not like it, but it's not unnecessary. And so there's a difference between not liking something and it becoming unnecessary. All right. Another way to be in violation is everybody, whether it's two people or more, decide all prices will go up. All right. And all prices will go up on this day across the board. Right. And it doesn't even have to be a dollar amount. It could be a percentage. All prices have to go up by 10%. So you're setting rules for pricing in your area.
But what if we just do that? Like all the salons in my area go up January 1st.
Okay, but that's not you're not
If you're not getting together on a board and saying, okay, here comes January 1st, you guys remember we're raising 5%.
No, it's just
Right. It just happens.
It just happened. And that's fine. All right. It is the intentional act of doing this is what makes it illegal.
So how do you prove intent?
That's the thing. How do they know that we all didn't get together at a restaurant somewhere and be like, we're going to do this?
I don't know what the criteria is to actually find the thing, but I do know all the people on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and everybody saying, hey, I have this dog in here. What should I charge? It is illegal to tell them what to charge. You can say what you charge. You can say, how you came about getting your price because of your overhead. Follow the formula. That's why I always teach the formula and not what I charge. Teach the formula to find out what your overhead is, what your per hour charge to be open is, find your profit margin, and then you can find your prices.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. It's important to have that business plan, know what your expenses are, know what it takes to run your business. Okay. And doing a cost of living increase is perfectly fine. Everything does a cost of living increase. Social Security every year does a cost of living increase based on whatever the percentage is.
Right.
Yep.
So you can set your cost of living expense to whatever percentage that is, but you are setting that, not you sitting down with the competition and deciding, unless of course it's whatever the federal government puts out as the cost of living adjustment, whatever that percentage is.
Right. This Facebook user up here says, sounds like it is basically maybe businesses gathering against customers in general.
Yes,
yeah.
that is what
Drop
it is.
on people. Yeah. It has to be a fair market.
Yeah, so that's exactly what it is formed for. It is to keep a fair and open market. Okay, so how they get people, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if somebody is sitting in a group of people and you're all discussing, well, we're all raising our prices April 1st, and that person goes and files a complaint. I don't know how else they can do that.
Or somebody smarmy that's in the group turning you all in.
Right.
It happens.
But my thing is, if you're sitting together as a group and this is where the conversation had come up, right? If you know, as the local business owners, none of you have a business plan, and you all need to do a business plan, and you're going to set up an accountability group to all work on your business plans. That's still individual business plans.
Right.
Okay.
It would be like all of us who have a salon or a business went into an LLC together and then decided what the prices are in our area. That is completely illegal to do that. Unless we had one business, we joined everything together and had one business, and then franchises, and then set prices for our business and our franchise. But two, Target and Walmart and all the big boys can't get together and say, okay, for this toothpaste, we're going to charge this. They each have different operating structures.
Yeah. So their prices have to be based on what their expenses as a business is, right? And everyone's expenses should be different. Okay. So the person who is mobile will have different expenses from somebody who has a home-based shop to somebody who is a one-person shop to somebody who has employees. All of those are different businesses. They have different expenses and things you have to account for.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way you know what your pricing is, all right, is to know what it takes to run your business. And then adding on a living wage for you, along with any other accounts that you have for, like, expenses, for capital expenses, for vacation, for retirement.
Mm-hmm.
All of those are business expenses.
Now, there was a question a little further down that asks, but would it apply to the girl that posted earlier about what if they don't want to pay for the grooming?
That's not very clear. What does she mean?
Yeah.
If they don't want to pay for the grooming, they don't get the service. Bye.
Yeah. So if I have a dog that comes in, okay, and I'm going to use Michelle as an example, right? You have a dog comes in, your specialty is skin and coat, all right? So you're coming in and you're going to decide what it is that this pet needs, and then you're going to charge accordingly for the needs of that pet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You'll discuss the price with them, what it is that they get for the service. There's no cookie cutter service in grooming, okay?
Right.
Are we bathing? Are we bathing and doing nails? Are we bathing and not doing nails? Are we bathing and dremeling? All right? Or do we offer skin and coat services? Do we specialize in senior pets? All right? Does that require an extra skill set? So we're also talking that as groomers, we have skill sets. And as those skill sets, we should be charging accordingly for those skill sets. Okay? Angie, for example, your skill set is cats and rabbits, correct?
Yeah.
And that's a very much of a niche market and a specialized skill. Just like if I want to hire an electrician, now do I want to hire somebody who is like a master electrician? I expect to pay more for him than I do for somebody who is fresh out of trade school. All right.
Now here's a question. I think this is what Amy was asking. So if somebody comes into my salon, I groom the dog, they refuse to pay for the service on pickup.
That's theft of services. Though.
Yeah.
Yes. However, there are some local police departments that don't understand that it is not necessarily a civil matter, it's actually a criminal matter. So they let it go. So then what if that groomer were to call the groomer down the street and go, hey, Bob Jones brought Fluffy in for a groom and he screwed me on the pay. And then
no, because I think
calls groomer C and says, hey, Bob Jones screwed groomer
You're
A.
still not fixing the price. You're just letting somebody know. Yeah.
Okay. You're just giving somebody a heads up. It's still their decision to groom that pet or not.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of groomers who, and I'm not going to use what's the word, how I want to phrase this, different skill sets. Okay. So that person who screwed you out of your grooming fee, all right, may consider themselves that their specialty is actually customer service, and they think they know how to get around that person. That's still their choice.
Mhm.
Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Let me make sure I'm not missing anyone.
Yeah, and I'm going to go back and just add on to what Mary was saying when she used me as an example. Yeah, we're going to go over everything. The reason I know how to set my price is because, number one, I know what I'm worth per hour, and I know what every single product that I use costs per ounce, per drop, per whatever unit I'm using to measure it by. I know how much that costs. I know how much I need to upcharge that to make my profit. So all that you should know absolutely everything in your salon, how much it costs, how much your products cost per ounce, because you're basically using about an ounce per dog on average, whatever you're using. So you should know the price of all of those things. You can actually charge your brushes can actually be amortized, if you will. They could actually be you could put them in service for a year and a half, and then you change out all your brushes every year and a half or whatever. Mine last for forever. They look like crap. But I mean, you could do that. And you also should be doing that with all your heavy equipment, all your dryers, your tubs, your cages, all your hard equipment should be, there's a word for it, but my old brain can't think of it now. You know what I'm talking about?
Amortized?
Huh?
Amortized?
Yeah, but depreciated.
Depreciated.
You should depreciate all of your large assets over a matter of 5 to 7 years or 5 to 10 years, depending on what that is, because it's only worth so much per year, and it goes down and down and down.
Right?
But all of that is part of your business plan, all of knowing what your overhead is. How much does it cost to open your door per hour? Then you have the tool to make to say what your profit should be and what you can pay everybody and what everything's worth. That's the number one thing that you should be doing.
Okay. So what it really comes down to is knowing what it takes to run your business and not expect the local groomers in your area to have the same expenses that you do.
Correct. It drives me crazy seeing when people say, "Hey, how much do you charge?" Or even in my classes, everyone wants me to talk specific numbers. I'm like, my numbers are not your numbers. Where my cost of living is completely different. 5 miles down the road is completely different. So precise numbers are not a way to go. You have to go off of percentages and knowing all of your costs.
Okay, the question here, isn't the Sherman Act for monopolies? Yes, it is not. It is for monopolies, but not just for monopolies. It may be the terminology that they're using for monopolies is rather broad. Okay. So if you think, and that's a governmental term, that's a legal term. So think about our own personal terms and just how broad they are. Okay. So if we use the term puppy cut, okay, what does that actually mean?
Nothing. It means literally nothing.
It can mean a whole lot of things. Okay. So
it means one thing on a poodle. Puppy.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. Yes. That's what it
It
means.
means one thing.
There was a groomer in Oak River Network, I think. She got a tattoo of a poodle in a puppy cut. And when they say puppy cut, he goes, "You mean this?" And they go, no. And she said, "Then it's not a puppy cut."
This is it right here.
Yeah. Literally, she put it on her flesh.
Love
So
it.
they could go.
okay. So
That's an awesome tattoo idea.
actually, it is.
And it said right underneath it, "Puppy cut." Like, really, and it wasn't even in cursive, it was in print, so everybody could read it.
Okay. So the question is, what about charging for skills? Okay. Again, it's not price fixing to set for skills. It's not an unwanted thing if somebody wants your skills. Okay. Okay, as an example, right? So I specialized in senior pets. I had a lot of vets refer me their 14, 15, 16-year-old clients because I was basically the only groomer in the area that was willing to groom pets that age. Okay. That is a skill. All right. I have to work slower. Okay. There's actually a lot of stress on me to groom a pet that age.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a skill set. And I absolutely should be charging extra for that skill set. It isn't any different than the person who grooms cats or grooms rabbits or does hand stripping or does scissor work. Yes, Chris?
Slight tangent related to something we just said. I know y'all will be tempted to Google poodle puppy cut at some point, but just don't. Just don't, because
Now we're gonna have to go Google poodle cut.
the likelihood of you having a stroke, it's pretty.
I could do for a rest. I'll do it while everybody's talking. How about
It's
that?
eye twitching. It's eye twitching. I got a simple, natural looking trim that leaves your dog with an evenly cut length, typically 1 to 2 inches all over.
Ooh,
This is a highly modifiable look, so consult your groomer for a length that best fits you and your dog's preference and lifestyles.
oh, yeah, there's a lot of different pictures here for poodle cut.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, and not even the images pulled up. They're just random. They're just puppies.
right.
To just
Some of them aren't
puppies.
even poodles.
Right, yes. It's oh Jesus.
It's a stylized trim for a poodle puppy in show.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, teddy bear is another one.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So the point we're making is don't freak out about this, about whether or not you were in violation. If you are not in actively, what's the word I'm using? Having a consensual agreement with the other area groomers regarding this,
Conspiracy.
not in violation.
Mm-hmm.
And number one, if you don't know who's working around you, how are you going to say, oh, yeah, you should be charging what I'm charging? That's a very personal thing. I don't know. I've never seen him or her groom. I don't know what that dog looks like. How can I say, oh, yeah, they groom great. They charge the same as me. Well, clients are the one who decides who has the better deal, who has the better skill set, what they're willing to pay for. You cannot tell someone how to charge for their dogs. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
And you know what? And for the groomers in the area who you feel are significantly undercharging, okay, those groomers tend to go out of business at some point because they're not making a living doing this. Okay, so it was to avoid price shopping. Okay, you know what? I know that's Anita because this is the conversation that we had. Okay,
It is.
People are going to price shop. They're going to call. I have lost a client over 50 cents because somebody was actually 50 cents cheaper than I was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank God you lost them. Thank God.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but the point being is know what it takes to run your business. Charge accordingly for your skill and your services. There are so many pets. And if your concern is really answering the phone and then, people don't want to book you because you're $5 more than somebody else, stop answering the phone during the day. Let it go to message. Be really clear on your voicemail so you can avoid those phone calls in the first place, and start concerning yourself with building the loyalty and the trust of the customers that you do have. And those are the ones that you want to, that's the type of client that you want.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, the minute somebody tells you, well, such and such down the street does it, that tells you that they don't value your services. And it can run right along because there's too many people waiting to get in. And I don't have time for that. No one has time for that. You run on down the road, you'll be back, or you'll come and try me out eventually because whatever.
Yeah. So, like I said, set your prices according to what it takes to run your business, because it doesn't matter which store I buy my coconut milk at. It's going to be $6.49. However, okay, there are other things that I buy that I can pick either based on Am I buying at Costco because I'm buying bulk? Okay, because I want a lot of it. All right. Um, or am I buying at any one of the 3 supermarkets in my area that I'm going to anyway? And so I'm going to buy it because it might be cheaper at this place than at another place. Or am I buying it because I want something very specific and I will pay whatever it is because I want that specific item?
Well, if it's milk and you're buying it at Costco, you're bathing in it.
This is an example, Angie.
It's okay. Mary took me to Costco. It was my first Costco trip ever. There was a thing of M&Ms I could have gone for a swim in. It was like, over your entire life, you could not eat this many M&Ms.
Challenge accepted.
Right?
You would die. You would literally die.
We're going to put the M&Ms in the refrigerator where they're going to be nice and cold, and we're just going to grab them at handfuls at a time.
You would have them until you're 130.
No, they'd last probably a month in the South.
Maybe a month.
It was like
Doesn't
this
matter.
big. It was
Doesn't matter.
A month.
huge.
A month.
It's like fucking 20 pounds of M&Ms, for the love of God. I'm like, that's not, who needs that many M&Ms?
That's a lot of M&Ms, but that's
Okay.
not
Okay.
impossible.
Real quickly, show of hands. Who needs that many M&Ms?
I don't need them. My husband will, though. He would eat every single one of them in probably 3 weeks.
Need.
All right. So I think we answered. I believe we covered this well.
Yeah, that's true. It's not who needs them. It's who wants them.
And by the way, Angie, the next time you have the ability to go to a Costco, think about your snack cupboard at work.
Yeah, but
She does not have a 25-pound container of M&Ms in her snackle box. It's not going to happen.
no, because it's the sugar crash. So
Yes.
I buy like granola bars,
And they
then
have
have
bars,
big
and
boxes of
granola
granola
bars.
and yeah.
I feel like we're doing like some dance.
Right.
Yeah, granola bars.
Vogue.
I really do think the bottom line, though, is really you have to be accountable for your business. If you are going into business, even if you're very green and you're just moving into the scene for the very first time, and you don't know that much, know this. You have to know how much your salon costs, your whatever, however that turns out, however you groom, you have to know what it costs you per day, per hour to open up for business.
Yeah.
That is your bottom line. That is what's going to tell you if you're even moving forward in the business. If you've grown your business, that bottom line is going to tell you that you've grown your business. That's how you do your business. So everybody, every salon should know their per hour, per day, per week, per month charge, overhead charges. That's how you make your profit. That's how you decide what do I need to take home. That's what my overcharge is. That's how you do it. And forever stop asking what somebody else charges. Jarvis Godoy used to charge $245 for a Yorkie. And I know I'm old enough to know who that is, but a lot of you probably are not. He used to be called the most expensive groomer in the world, the best paid groomer in the world. That's what it was. But he provided a service unlike any other person. And the reason he could charge that is because he knew his per hour charge and what he was worth.
Okay, so let's look. There was an article going around about Gabrielle Fertosa, who made $3.1 million last year as a groomer.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Goals.
Yeah, well, all the people who are trying to get 10 and 15 dogs in their salon per table a day,
Yeah,
you're losing the deals. Work smarter, not harder.
Mhm.
Up your prices, calm your clientele down, give quality, not quantity. And I'm telling you, your whole life will change. your life will
Yeah.
change. You'll have money left over for vacations. You'll have energy left over for vacations and your family and spending time with your loved ones. That's priceless. We have a finite amount of minutes to live on this earth. Do I want to spend many of my days doing 15 dogs for $35 each? Not a chance.
Okay.
I know. Calm down, Angie. It's all right. Shh, it'll be over.
All right. So just
The very idea. I'm like,
all right. The base, and this is the basic formula for figuring out your pricing. Okay. Add up your expenses over the course of a year. Your expenses include your salary, what it is you want to make for the year. It includes your various funds, tax money, education, vacation, retirement. Okay.
certifications.
What was that?
Certifications.
Okay.
There's
Or,
fees.
okay.
Education.
All right, that's education. Then there's capital expenses and emergency funds. All of that has to be added up over the course of the year. Okay. And you're not working 52 weeks a year, right? You're not.
Right.
Okay. And I'm always going to, just for math, nothing other than because it's going to be easy to do math. Okay. Say those expenses all total up to 100 grand. Okay. And you're working 50 weeks a year. And I'm hoping you're working less than that, working 50 weeks a year. That means your business has to pull in $2,000 a day. If you're working for 5 days of the week, that's, oh my God, $400 for the day. Okay. How many hours do you want to work? Or how many dogs do you want to do in that 8 hour? That's your hourly rate right there. Okay. And that is a very, very simple formula. Okay. But you need to know what it takes to run your business. What is she doing?
Bunnies.
Bunnies. How many bunnies?
Okay. And so the most important part of that whole formula is how much do you want to make a year?
Lots.
Okay.
Lots. If you're going to kill yourself, you might as well be making bank.
Yeah.
You might as well. Absolutely.
Saying all the monies, but I don't want to kill myself to do it because I actually have 9 weeks off this year.
Okay.
And my
Now,
income hasn't changed at all.
Are they off or are they traveling and educating? And so
I'm
they're
going to
not
trade shows
off.
and educating. So they're not off.
So they're
I'm
not
in the
off.
salon producing.
Yes.
By the same token, I'm not actually making any money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I need to be able to cover the expense of the fact that I am not in the salon. I am not actually making any money because I'm going to a trade show to go teach, and I'm not making jack. I'm probably losing money. And that's reality.
And that Facebook user has to be Mindy.
Oh, yeah.
It just says Facebook user. I'm like,
No, that's Amy.
that's Amy. Okay.
Yeah. Amy knows I don't actually take time off, but it's not in the salon. So,
Okay.
but I'm out of the salon 9 weeks this year, and my income.
No. Barkley, no. Just go off on the tangent. Barkley does pay its speakers, but it pays
they do.
a speaker fee. It doesn't pay travel costs.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
food or
Right.
hotel
Or
rooms or
Lodging
nothing.
or yes.
Yeah.
It's a flat fee when you're speaking for that time only,
But the
and you
Barclay
do not
show-
even break even unless you have a booth out there selling something.
But the Barkley shows I do are all like local travel for me. So I actually make money because I'm not paying for all that stuff. Those are the Barkley shows I do. So when I teach for Barkley, I actually make money.
Right.
But my income doesn't change whether I'm at a trade show or I'm in the salon. It's the same amount of money every single week because I have set my prices so that it's consistent no matter what happens. Like the week that I was out was the first sick day I had in 31 years. I had COVID. I was out for a week. I still got paid. I still got paid the same amount, even though I wasn't grooming anything, because that money it's a weekly, and I'm already prepared for that.
All right. And there's one last thing on the Sherman Act, that you can't prevent people from coming into your area. All right.
Right.
What are you gonna do? Like run around with pitchforks and
Well,
I know, but I've heard stories of
I know,
that. Like
seriously,
I've heard stories.
okay, I've had somebody who was with a franchise actually call me up and tell me I could no longer groom in this area because that was his territory. And after I finished laughing,
Sherman Act.
and after I finished laughing, I told him to review the laws that he could not do that.
Yeah, no one can ride you out on a rail.
that's not a thing.
Okay. No, Dara, if Daria, there might be something specific that they had with Barkley that they felt, but as a general, Barkley pays $200 an hour. All right, that's it.
Yeah, like you
Now,
check
there are contingencies of why they might not pay you because they've agreed to your sponsor or you have
Right.
a booth or there's some other arrangement. But if they call you in for just speaking, they'll pay you your speaking.
And I'm pretty sure I know what Daria is referring to. They do pay for demo pets, dogs and cats. And I believe there was an issue, but the last I had heard, that person in question was compensated. Is that not correct, Chris?
If that's the same one we're talking about, yes, that was taken care of. But for example, when I speak at Barkley shows, if it's anything that can somehow be related to shears or scissors or a demo, Evolution will sponsor me for that. But if it's not, and it's a business class or a groomer wellness class that has nothing to do with shears, Barkley pays for that. And that's the agreement between Evolution and I and Barkley.
Okay. So someone saw an ice cream truck.
Maria.
Ice cream truck.
Yeah,
Get out of my area.
yeah, an ice cream truck rammed another ice cream truck. So, okay. I hope there were no kids around.
The only other place besides Jersey where I would 100% believe that would happen is Philly.
Okay. Yeah.
For all y'all ragging on Jersey, have you ever been to Philly though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Born in Pennsylvania. Yeah. Yeah, that's a thing. I could see that happening in Philly.
So I think this was a great topic.
Yeah.
I think that it needed talked about, and because we will be real eventually, probably in my lifetime. I'm going to say probably in my lifetime. And when I say that, I mean that in the sense that veterinarians were not real until very recently. They were just a whole collection of people who did really good animal husbandry, and it became a thing. They had to start just like us. At one time, they were just like Groomer, the grooming industry, until they became real and got a board and had standards and all that other stuff. And we're so close to that. We're very close. So we do have to mind our P's and Q's about the law, about monopolies, about, tearing other people down or price gouging or price fixing. So, we do need to talk about that. It has to be in the conversation.
One thing, if you are discussing legislation for your state, make sure you're doing it in an echo chamber. That's really important. You should invite differing views so that if you only have an echo chamber and you're only hearing your same opinion parroted back to you, you're never going to grow from that. You're never going to see the other side of the issue where your opinion may have flaws. But if you don't want to hear anything that differs from your own voice coming back at you and parroted back at you, why bother? So invite debate, invite differing opinions so that you can elevate both people to an understanding and a reasonable conclusion for all of you, rather than just saying, I'm right and you're wrong and yeah. That's ridiculous.
And it's not personal. Something
It's
like
not.
that, it's never personal. And it's a good idea to oversee the Oxford Rules of Debate. Once I started really studying that and went through a mediator class with my husband, it absolutely changes the way you think about conversation. Stay out of it. It's really none of your business. Talk about the thing. It's always the thing, the action, the behavior, the law, the whatever. It really has nothing to do with you because you're trying to find the seed of truth in that discussion. And if you're always saying, well, I did this, or I, the more you say I, the further away you get from that objective truth. And that's what we're trying to arrive at. That's how we gain standards. That's how we gain authority. That's how we become real. So just really think about when you have discussions. Well, I don't like talking to her because she wants to argue. Well, if she's just arguing, that's one thing. But if we're trying to find the seed of truth in that discussion, everybody should be calm. You know, maybe me and Angie have two different totally ways of grooming a rabbit, and we get together. I'm going to calmly talk to her and she's going to calmly disagree. And then I'm going to disagree with her, but then she'll bring up a point and be like, oh, I may change that. Or I may bring up a point and pull her the other way. But we're calmly talking about that. And we're finding out what is the best way to hold a rabbit while you're doing its nails, you know, or whatever it may be. But we're going to stay calm when we do it because I love Angie. I don't like the thing that's been irritating me. And that's what we're going to get to the bottom of. That thing, that object, that technique. You know, I want to talk about it. But if you yell at people and you just argue with them, so, well, I'm right. I've done it this way all the time and I've never heard a bunny or whatever. You know, you've missed the point. You've missed the point of the whole discussion. You've robbed the other person of giving their opinion and maybe arriving at a conclusion that neither one of you expected.
Yes.
So.
Okay, any parting words? Yes, Chris?
Well, it's Costco related, and I would say, Angie, take the day in November and take the drive to,
She found the closest one. Go ahead.
yeah, take the drive to Waltham. It's about an hour. But do it in like November because the gift baskets and gifty things at Costco. Think like,
Don't you need like a membership though to go into Costco?
Yes.
Yeah.
yes, you
Well,
might.
I know who's going to have a
guess what.
25-pound gallon of M&Ms on her doorstep here pretty soon when the cool weather comes. I already know what's going to happen. I can see it in my mind.
Uh-huh.
And then we're going to need updates on how long it takes you to eat all of them.
Uh-huh. Well, you know what? We'll work on that. We'll work on that, Angie. We'll figure that out. But I was reminded because my dog was playing with a stuffed, like it looks like a half wheel of cheese. That last year or 2 years ago, they were selling Costco this pack of dog toys, and it was a bottle of wine, a wheel of cheese, a Costco doggy ID card, and I think something else. Maybe no, I think it was two bottles of wine, but stuffed dog toys.
They always have good dog stuff there. I get dog beds from there, right?
Yeah,
Well
seriously.
worth it.
I picked up one dog bed for Spirit because it was more
Orthopedic.
thank you.
Yeah.
I came home with it, and all the other little dogs took it over. And of course, Spirit didn't have a bed. I had to go back to Costco to buy
newspaper.
2 more of those. Yeah, I know. I had to go buy 2 more of them.
Yeah. It's
All right, Daria, be specific. What do you mean by guarantees?
Tell us more.
Tell us more about what you mean by guarantees.
And then after
Oh,
we're
I saw
done,
that post. I saw that post. I think I know what she means. Okay, hang on.
Tell us.
All right, so little crazy Yorkie, Bitey, is like 3 months old or 6 months old, something like that. It was little. It was a puppy. 3 years. 3 years. It was 3 years old. And so the guy was like, okay, so these other salons couldn't get it done, and you're certified master groomer, and you're all this in a bag of chips. You can get this done. Well, she's 9 months pregnant, and she doesn't need the stress of a crazy biting dog. So the body looked beautiful. All right. Hey, thumbs up on that, Derry. Like, seriously, I was like, ooh, that was so with those little itty bitty teeny weeny legs. And so the guy was like, well, you said you could get it done, because at the point that she said I quit because she didn't want to, one, get nailed at 9 months pregnant, and two, didn't want her blood pressure to go phew, from dealing with this little aggressive dog that was just biting. And she was like, I'm calling it here. She got the body done. It looked lovely, but not the head, because with all the biting and the crazy. So, and the guy was mad that you shouldn't have gotten it done. I don't understand. I gave him CBD. I was like, dude.
okay, so next week, because we're coming up in an hour, and I already want to say stuff about this, so I'm also tamping myself down. So next week we're going to talk about perception and guarantees, because somebody said perception earlier, and I think that whole look great guarantee and the guarantees and perception of what we do is all tied in together, and that's an awesome topic.
And let me tell you what comes out of the woodworks as soon as I open a cat only location, the stories I can tell you of the unrealistic expectations put on us because we are a cat salon and we can handle anything.
Mm-hmm.
And we have gotten horrible reviews because cats have tried to eat us and we won't do them. Or one cat was almost about to go and have a heart attack and we said no. And oh yeah, no. This will be a fun one. The cat salon, lots of them.
Okay, later.
Next
week.
Yes.
Next week. Okay, we will see everybody next week. Okay.